Welcome to Hitman Boxing. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. To all my followers, make sure you go over to Facebook and like my fan page. It's Hitman Boxing Talk. And follow me on Facebook at Hitman Boxing. It's the same avatar that I have on YouTube. Real simple to find. I'll leave a link in the description box or whatever, okay? Now let's get into this video. Luis Ortiz expects to face Vladimir Klitschko next because he's probably going to beat Anthony Joshua. This is what Luis Ortiz feels. Okay. Alright, okay, cool. That's fine. That is okay. Now, let's talk about Luis Ortiz for a minute. Because, he was scheduled to come back to the ring this Saturday, but he suffered an injury to his finger. I think it was a fractured finger. He was going to be in the ring against a bum on a PBC card, Derek Rossi, some shit like that. But dude had over like 10 losses or something like that. So, obviously, well, really, it's another tune-up fight. But, he's got that pack with Al Heyman. Making some pretty big moves for his career by doing this. I mean, he is older. Motherfuckers really don't know how old Luis Ortiz is, man. Motherfuckers be lying about the age and shit. But this is a common thing amongst like Cuban athletes, so. And I'm just saying, not being racist by saying that shit. I mean, look at Little League and look at those kids that play Little League from Cuba. Motherfuckers be like 18, 22 and shit. You know what I'm saying? They be lying about their fucking age. Let's be honest. Now, Luis Ortiz is probably, pushing like 39, 40 years old, so he doesn't have a lot of time left, and he needs to get in the ring and try to get one of these belts, man. He's the number one contender for the WBA title. Right now, that belt it's vacant, right? Yeah, it's vacant. And, as far as him fighting the winner, Klitschko, Joshua, as I mentioned before on the channel, I got Anthony Joshua beating Vladimir Klitschko. But let's entertain Luis Ortiz for a minute, okay? And let's be perfectly honest when it comes to Luis Ortiz. He's not that impressive, to be honest with you. He's not that nice in the ring. He's a big dude. He can move pretty well. Got a lot of power. But I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck happened when you fought Malik Scott. What happened there? You see, in my opinion, when he fought Malik Scott, he kind of got exposed. Because Malik Scott showed us that Luis Ortiz doesn't know how to cut the fucking ring off at all. And he gets frustrated when he has to run his opponents down, when he has to try to catch up with them when they run, quote unquote, right? You can call it boxing and moving. That's what I call it. That's what he was doing. But Malik Scott still lost the fight. That was probably one of the most boring fights I've ever seen. And, I watched that fight with my father. I was like, hey, yo, you got to see this Luis Ortiz guy. He's dope, man. He's a good fighter. My dad was excited and shit. We watched that fucking fight, man. That shit, damn, they had to turn that shit off halfway through the fucking fight, man. Now, of course, he comes back. And he stops David Allen or whatever. So, let's look at his fucking resume, man. Vladimir Klitschko and Luis Ortiz got one opponent in common. That's Brian Jennings. Now, Brian Jennings did very well against Vladimir Klitschko, if you remember. I think, damn, that was in New York, I think. And then I think Vladimir Klitschko, yeah, he came back to the U.S., which he rarely does, and fought over here. And Brian Jennings had some success against him, if I recall. Boxing on the outside. I was rooting for Brian Jennings to win the fight, but, he lost. Unanimous decision to Klitschko. Whatever, it's all good. And we saw what Luis Ortiz did to Brian Jennings, man. We saw what the fuck happened to him. He got stopped. He looked terrified in that ring against Ortiz, man. I feel like Luis Ortiz is hit or miss, man. Maybe it has something to do with him being motivated for these fights. Or maybe he's just a wash, man. Maybe it's his age that's catching up to him. I don't know, man. But he's a fucking heavyweight. He's 6'4". He's a southpaw. He can move. He's a nightmare. He's a nightmare to deal with. But we really don't know how he would fare against one of these top-tier fighters in the heavyweight division. And there's not that many. If we're being honest, there's not that many top-tier heavyweights. The motherfuckers that got belts, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua. I mean, really, when you think about the top tier fighters in the heavyweight division, what names are always mentioned? You got Deontay Wilder. You got and be honest with yourself. Deontay Wilder is an A-level fighter. He's an A-level fighter. Anthony Joshua. You got Vladimir Klitschko. Ortiz. I mean, Joseph Parker. That's fucking debatable, man. That's really debatable. As a lot of people feel that he's the weakest champion at heavyweight. He's a WBO champion. So, I mean, really, who else is there? It's a lot of dudes who are close to A level. The heavyweight division got some really good B level fighters, though. I will say that there's a lot of good, solid fighters, of which Deontay Wilder has fought 0, but we're not gonna talk about him. Luis Ortiz, Vladimir Klitschko. Now, Luis Ortiz feels that Klitschko is going to dominate this fight with his jab. He's going to keep Anthony Joshua at bay with that long jab. And, I mean, that could happen, but I just don't see him beating the younger fighter here, Anthony Joshua. I just think his power is going to overwhelm Klitschko, man. And I know Klitschko's a veteran and shit, but I don't feel like Klitschko's gonna win this fight, man. He's older. He hasn't fought in so long. I mean, really, he's got a lot of ring rust, man. Like, and that combined with his age, I mean, you can't tell me that's not a factor in this fight. And the fact that Anthony Joshua's so much younger than him, man, and improves in every fight that he's in, and he's looking like a young knockout artist. I just can't bet against him, man. Now, Luis Ortiz and Vladimir Klitschko, damn, man. Klitschko don't move enough. Okay, you know what? Yeah, I would go with Luis Ortiz to win that fight, man. I'm picking a lot of these dudes over Klitschko, man. And in fact, Luis Ortiz ain't that nice, but I'm trying to think of somebody who could beat him. You know, Deontay Wilder might be able to beat Luis Ortiz. He's more athletic. He might be able to beat Luis Ortiz on some real shit. If I'm being 100% real with you motherfuckers right now, he might be able to beat Luis Ortiz, because Luis Ortiz ain't all that, man. Anthony Joshua, I think he could beat Anthony Joshua though, real talk. I think Luis Ortiz could pull that shit off. Joseph Parker, you know what? Joseph Parker move around a lot too, man. See, man, is styles make fights, man. And though he is a feared opponent in the heavyweight division, when I saw what Malik Scott did to him, and to keep it in perspective, Malik Scott didn't really do shit but run the entire fight. But if you got somebody who's going to use movement and then pop that jab at him, pop shot him all day, you beat Luis Ortiz, man. That's simple. He made the blueprint on how to beat Luis Ortiz. But, hey, I doubt if we get any of these fucking fights. To be honest, all these fuckers ducking motherfuckers, man. Deontay Wilder ducking everybody. He said he's going to be ringside for Klitschko and fucking Joshua, right? But you can't fight neither one of them motherfuckers, because they got mandatories. And you know that. You just want motherfuckers to think that you about to do some shit. You know you're not about to fight nobody. You know you about to go after Joseph Parker. Matter of fact, you're not going to fight Joseph Parker. You're going to fucking fight Dominic Breazeale. I promise you, you're going to fight Dominic Breazeale, man. But you got to fight Bermane Stiverne first, man. Nobody's trying to see that bullshit again, man. Now I'm pissed off, man. Now I'm upset. These motherfuckers, man, running and ducking and hiding and shit. Money got to be right. Fuck up. Fuck your money. You a boxer. Get your ass in the ring. You knocked the fuck out. It's okay. It's okay to get knocked out. At least make the fight so we know what's really good. And you know what? Vladimir Klitschko need to give it up after this, man. After he take this loss to Anthony Joshua, you need to just go ahead and retire, man. Nobody's checking for you. If you don't got no belts, you're not relevant. And watch when Anthony Joshua beat Klitschko, they're gonna be like, oh, Klitschko's too old. And you know, I've been talking about this old motherfucker too. But you know what? You gotta give him props if he's a prospect coming up and he's beating a fucking someone who's probably gonna be in the Hall of Fame. He ran the heavyweight division for years, man. So you gotta give Klitschko his props for that, man. Him and his brother ran shit. Now, Luis Ortiz, I don't know where the fuck he's been his entire life. Started boxing when he was fucking 36 or some shit. Ain't really done shit in boxing. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how things play out, man. I expect 2018 to be a big year for the heavyweight division, man. But these motherfuckers running and hiding, you know. So, I mean, the only thing that makes things easier is the fact that Eddie Hearn's willing to work with Is that Eddie Hearn? Yeah, Eddie Hearn's willing to work with Al Haymon. You know, we got Luis Ortiz fighting for PBC. So, hopefully, we can get some combination of these fights going on, man. And then I'm done talking about these motherfuckers because they piss me the fuck off. Fuck all of them. Hitman Boxing, I'm out.